Secret Society Productions. Do them and I'll just do me. Do them and I'll just do me. Masons think they added, blacks think they're national. Celebrating King's speeches at the Capitol. Don't have rights, so they act like an animal, thinking they the baddest in a dead status. Won't listen when I say they brown, not black. Don't think they sound like a clown on crack. Won't realize since their third eyes closed. Don't realize they waste money on clothes. Children with ashy knees, most are obese. Moms don't cook but order pizza with cheese and buckets of the clothes, shaking his finger licking till your arteries are sticking. Heart stop ticking. They wanna play the blame game, but it's too late. Most still don't learn till it's too late. I'll let them do them and I'll just do me. Stay watching DVD lectures and bun TV. Let the dead do them and I'll just do me. My order of the day is still nationality. Let the dead do them, I'll just do me. Stay watching DVD lectures and bun TV. I'll do me and let the dead do them. Mixing their trees with the cigarette blend. I'll do me and let the dead do them, accepting a slave brand to identify them. I'm on big book, can't believe they so dead. Talking without thinking, brainless heads, aimless threads. If you're black, you're a slave. Instead of humbling, they delete me from their page, calling me names, but that's no bother. Most are the return of emergency fund robbers, pushing the I'm black to cause friction. That's when I agree and I'm in the jurisdiction. They want me Morisco and at the disco. Caravana isn't carnival, no more calypso. The problem's not the world, but the people in it. Abusers of authority got the people timid, not behind the wheel but giving themselves limits. Things I say make pop eyes without spinach. Too much dead to wake up, work can't finish. The first Jews weren't black or their language Yiddish. Let the dead do them and I'll just do me. My order of the day is still nationality. Let the dead do them, I'll just do me. Stay watching DVD lectures and bun TV. I'll do me and let the dead do them, mixing their trees with the cigarette blend. I'll do me and let the dead do them, accepting a slave brand to identify them. The dead will do them like they've always done. Won't change unless in front the barrel of a gun. Won't change though Barack said it's that time. Youths killing each other, same content in their rhyme. Rappers mislead, situations critical. When we write that spelling, spells are rituals. You might think not, I suggest every thought that you think should be done very careful before you give me an earful. My reply, the kind to make your ears tearful. Stomach butterflies won't wonder why. Just accept the message from me from the Most High. That's why most die, cause they don't listen. Nicene Council Conference made you a Christian. Wicked Khalees got circling Kaaba fictions. All law is from my heart, they say black Egyptian, causing separations and black divisions. Brown faces frontline on attack missions. The plot thickens, but it's thin perceptions. Got them spending less time on jewelry than inception. Voting for candidates whose motive direction is to keep us at risk in priority sections and make us have an altered perception. Decepticons got Autobots with deceptions. Let the dead do them and I'll just do me. My order of the day is still nationality. Let the dead do them, I'll just do me. Stay watching DVD lectures and bun TV. I'll do me and let the dead do them, mixing their trees with the cigarette blend. I'll do me and let the dead do them, accepting a slave brand to identify them.
Common sense was made before book sense. Canaanland Moors presents Common Sense Quick.
Legendary, bury me in the North Gates Cemetery, February the 4th days. Son of Mary, day ahead of my born day. Independence and law may similar to a lost case. With case laws, we break them down like Jericho. Keeping all my lions tamed, I'm Chris Jericho. Or keep a mask on deck, I'm Rey Mysterio. Fake pandemics announced over the radio. Annoyed with the game, the joys and the pains. I'm Rob Bass mixing with rock the hard way. I was in a lost state. Prophets stood me up right. me to a lost gate. Cooking like I'm Salt Bay, repping like I'm Denzel. Malcolm X, Deja Vu, Roman J. Israel. Had no do I lay in plain sight, but people still can't see it. So the snake's still showing up, stakes still high, so the race still going up. Warriors of the North Gate, we not slowing up. Born in the manger, sworn to be savior. Walk through the valley of the shadows of the death dip in slavery. Looking for light, the book of Genesis. Astroplane entrances, invoke the nemesis. Abstract images of past lives kicking in. Danger, running for your life. Finish him.
Morris Omar, key man or oracle. Using Trinity powers, decipher allegorical. Lost in metaphorical, holy books are metaphysic. Fact slap a dirty more or a Drew Ali critic. Calling him Thomas or Walter and get your face caved. Or cut like a close shave. Drowned in my brainwaves, squashed by heat waves. Activating Kundalini. Abyssinia invaded by Mussolini. Selassie I in exile. Reptile in Genesis, niggas appearing real. All I see is false evidence. DAR feminists, stomped on by elephants. Won't let go prejudice, but want Moorish benefits. When you feel the pull, magnetic resonance. Apis horns of the sacred book, all maleficent. Great cosmic mothers, return to blessedness. No pestilence, ace all the testaments. Tap into remembrance, never to forget again. Use energy right, not put spell effects on men. Wandering the earth plane with no they live shades. Keeps you a mental slave as the horizon fades. It's been decades since Christian crusades. Not enough rebellions, too many vigil bouquets. Holding on to the fence, burning on doomsday. War ruled by Mars, it might be on a Tuesday.
Canaanland Moors presents Common Sense Quick. What we do here is we add some common sense thinking to everyday situations or comments that may arise. Want to give it a try?
Peace, Mars. Back once again. If you got any questions, just put them in the chat. Now, there's an organization that we give supreme honors to, called Moore's Order of the Round Table. Moore's Order of the Round Table. Is it, you know, they always give up this stuff in the shows. I mean, this happened to be around a round table. And then obviously, these aren't Masons because their fezzes aren't marked. Who are they really? Who are they really trying to be? They got their round table there. Oh, there's one.
I'm on a video.
More.
It's more. Oh man, I was wondering when you was gonna do a video of that. That was funny. That was a funny video, man. If you notice that he's the only Moor in there.
You know, they got to tell the people our truth in code. You know, they got to tell our people the truth in code.
Indeed, I've seen it in so many of the cartoon Teen Titans. They showed one of the one episode where they was hunting for something, but they was showing all the pyramids, the one eye and stuff like that. There was a bunch of stuff that they were showing. But yeah, you're right. They have to show it in a way that the people won't seem like, you know, seem inconspicuous.
Yeah. And one of the things that we always try to impress on our people as Moors is that these Europeans and whoever else, they already know this. We're the only ones in the
Indeed,
dark.
they do.
We're the only ones that are content being in the dark.
And then what's crazy, like in where I'm at, it's a lot of Masonic temples, and I see a lot of cars on with the stickers on there, right? So the motto for Freemason is, to be one, ask one. Everybody knows that. They sit on cars or whatever. So it goes, when we try to incorporate that saying with the knowledge that's been bestowed upon us, it's like we looked at as like some kind of ignorant person who don't know what we're talking about.
Yeah. and really that's because of their ignorance.
And it's like frustrating, when I try to, teach other brothers and sisters, when they ask me where I get it from, I tell them, how it was taught to me, introduced to me, this is where I went to it. And what's crazy is, they get mad when you don't give them the information instead of, telling them to go get a book. Because what I say is, here's the book that you can, start from, and because if I tell you, it's going to really put you to sleep. Or if my brother from Canaanland tells you, it's going to put you to sleep. If my brother from, down there in Atlanta tell you, it's going to put you to sleep. So, when we tell newcomers, when we introduce them, we introduce them by way of book, because they know not by being told. They get belligerent, they get ignorant, they step out of character.
Yeah.
As so we try to bring them in by, giving them small bits of information. Like I always start off with Christopher Columbus, because everybody knows the story of Christopher Columbus.
Yeah.
So I just break it down by certain events and let them use their mind to think about it, and that's how we introduce people. But on the essence of the Europeans who actually have a nationality, but they're portraying to be white, for what reason I don't know, because we all know that white's color on one spectrum and the status on another. But that goes to show who the real ignorant people are.
Mm-hmm. But at this point, it's two-tiered ignorance.
At this point, you're right. It's no excuse for it.
Yeah, there's so much that our people have done in ignorance, that ignorance has now fallen on them, as if we're the founders of stupidity now.
Indeed, and it's like they confuse us with Shriners, confuse us with so many people, and it's like, do you see any mark on my feds? And it's like it's crazy.
But that's how. But again, that's how deep the ignorance is. They don't even know that there's a difference. They don't even know that there's a difference as far as height, or as far as color castle, or as far as color fez, or whether there's writings on or there's not writings on it.
Mm-hmm.
Right? They're apt to blind to those things.
Yep. Go ahead with your video.
Yeah,
I'm gonna sit here and listen.
Going on. It's not more. Good to hear from you.
It's not.
Slow. Right. So it's like we said, this is a voluntary brainwash. This is voluntary brainwash. Because our people have been told, but because they don't know what they're looking at, they don't even know that they're being told what's up. Right? You have all these different nationalities on here. You might say that they're white, whatever like that. You got black guy, 3 white guys, or whatever. they're a cartoon playing cards and drinking beer, and they got enough to know nationality is the order of the day. You're not gonna mistake us for some Negroes. You're not gonna mistake us for the other people on the show who you don't know anything about. We're letting you know we're the man of the show. We're the ones. We run this. Right? There might be a dispute, you know what I mean, with whoever else is gonna be more popular than these four. How come the most popular ones started their own lodge on the show? So there's a show, and the characters on the show formed their own lodge because they want to do the drink beer, play the cards and all that stuff and not get bothered and have their own secret handshake and all this BS, people thinking that it's some comic strip thing. And there's putting it in your face. But see, we gotta, how don't we know? Like, how is it that we don't know? So we always gotta go back to the greatest online Moorish university, rvbaypublications.com. Actually, who right now, you can go to MHHS, Eyes Wide Open, on Blog Talk Radio, and they're live right now, 7:30 to 9:30. But let's look at a memorandum from 2017, 1438 Moorish calendar, just with regards to why we don't know. Why we don't know. Oh yeah, blogtalkradio.com/MHHS-Eyes Wide Open. Google that. It's going to go up. Click the thing. You're going to go on Blog Talk Radio, and then you'll see the live, that they're live right now, and just push that. I am distributing this from Sidi Salam Azim Bey Effendi. I am distributing this memorandum in for publication on the 155th anniversary of Cinco de Mayo to clear up some organized confusion that persists regarding the true background and status of the Moors originally domiciled here in North America. Prophet Noble Drew Ali brought forth a divine truth that has not been placated by falsehood as it may appear online. History repeats itself, and Noble Drew Ali said that he would repeat himself as well. The agitation, misinformation, disinformation, and overall confounding tactics of COINTELPRO agents disguised as faithful Moors has made it necessary for the faithful to provide some clarification and by design wield the sword of truth and shame the devil. All right. If you got any questions, just throw them in the chat. Any questions, throw them in the chat. For the record, when Prophet Drew Ali passed in 1929, a great sellout occurred. Noble Drew Ali's own Supreme Grand Business Manager, Aaron Payne L., listed Prophet Noble Drew Ali's race as Black American on his death certificate. This was in essence, for all practical and legal purposes, a betrayal. Aaron Payne L. was a Moorish adept, attorney and graduate of the prestigious University of Chicago School of Law. This was surely not an error, for all adepts know that the true race of the Moors is Asiatic and not black. See Key 90, the 101 questionnaire, number 90. If the Prophet passed form, after the Prophet passed form, the faithful Moors set out to murder Aaron Payne L. for treason. His home was protected by none other than the City of Chicago Police. Police protection and or close relations is the telltale sign of a covert agent provocateur. The same corrupt Chicago Police Department that was responsible for the false arrest and abuse of Prophet Noble Drew Ali was now protecting the man, Aaron Payne, who blatantly labeled the Prophet a Negro posthumously. Black American necessarily means Negro in law, according to Black's Law, 4th edition. Because Noble Drew Ali was a mastermind, he had given definitive assignments to several of his faithful Moors, and many today are still trying to figure out what is clear to the clairvoyant. But Allah reveals truth to whom He will. Time is also the best revealer. And Emile, also an attorney, proved to be a faithful Moor in that he kept records that allowed the new Moors to find the breadcrumbs left by the Prophet. Elijah Poole Bey could often be found on the front row of Prophet Noble Drew Ali's temple meetings, feverishly taking notes. He was very humble, soft-spoken, quiet, and most studious. Because of his demeanor, Noble Drew Ali gave him the assignment of keeping Islam alive in the name and creed of the Moors, who were about to take yet another fall due to infighting and betrayal. Brother Poole Bey discarded Moorish nationality altogether and altered the racial aspect of the Prophet's teachings and began to refer to the Moors as the Asiatic black man, a misnomer. He also took on the name Elijah Muhammad because he himself was to carry the torch of Islam as a reminder of our ancient creed. Elijah Muhammad gave his most trusted divine minister the title Bey. He is still alive today and known as Brother Lucius Bey. Lucius, Roman pronomen or given name, which was derived from Latin lu, L-U-X, which is light. Minister Lucius Bey is known as the Dean of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad's ministries in the Nation of Islam, and with good reason. He also gave his most famous member, Cassius Clay, the title Muhammad Ali, and with good reason. He knew the truth. See, write this down, house.state.pa.us/. house.state.pa.us/. Capital R T K L /RTKL hyphen 4-1933 capital HR 75.pdf. Just so you can fact check. And don't listen to anything that we're saying. Unfortunately, it's not available in French unless you make it available in French, since you speak French. I don't speak French, so I can't help you with that. But if you speak French, don't be shy to go on the website and convert everything to French. If you got it like that, then there's something to do. Make a French version of rvbaypublications.com for the French people who want to know about their nationality and birthrights, or the French-speaking people, should I say, the Creole-speaking people. Right? And then the more said it's the technological age, you could just change the language on your computer and you'll be all right. What is keeping the Moors from gaining their vast estate? The colonists or our own sellouts? Well, based on this, it would seem like because of our selling out, the colonist is able to do whatever they're doing. And then what really should be happening is the people removing themselves from all these people who were called their leaders, right? I don't care what, but just look at what's happened and where we are and recognize they did nothing for us. Absolutely nothing. So put them on pause and let's hear what Noble Drew Ali had to say and what the Moors had to say for all these years that we weren't listening. And just see what it has to offer. You know what I mean? You don't gotta proclaim your nationality or nothing like that. Just see what it has to offer. And let the Europeans, the colonists, and let the sellouts be over there by themselves. Because none of them did anything for us. So it shouldn't be too hard to turn your back. Shouldn't be too hard. I know that slave master and stuff like that. Slave master shot in the head and you're holding the body crying and stuff. Right? But though they are definitely, that's who the they are. The they, and he said, hey, they whatever. They did this, they whatever did it. You're talking about the colonists, and you're talking about the sellouts on our side. That Noble Drew Ali told us thought that this was a joke and unreal and all that. Charles Mosley Bay, aka CM Bay, was a prominent Cleveland attorney who was under the jurisdiction of subordinate temporal number 7, where brother Charles Bay was the governor. CM Bay was so exceptional and proficient in law, he was barred from wearing his fez unlawfully by a judge in Ohio due to prejudice. This ultimately kept him from attending the court proceeding and was only lost in the case of Ahmed L., aka Tonelli. AHMED, Ahmed L., the case of Ahmed L. or Tonelli. Noble Drew Ali had assigned CM Bay with keeping Moorish sovereignty and autonomy alive and well, and that alone from a jurisprudence standpoint. So this is where you get the Moorish Holy Temple of Science changing its name to Moorish Science Temple of America, and then after Noble Drew Ali transitioning, re-emerging the civic idea of what Noble Drew Ali brought, that change to the religious corporation, was reinvigorated by CM Bay, right? And that had to do with the civic aspect of this, which is the Moorish sovereignty and the self-realization, the self-governance that we are absolutely, positively capable of doing amongst ourselves, because we have him as a template to show that it could be done just by us. And the people like who would be Jesse Binger today that have millions and own banks and whatever like that, that they'll subscribe to everything that they could get for the Moorish movement, not for some Negro black colored stuff. Because we're going to keep bringing up Jesse Binger, who, if you don't know him, you better go look him up, and Oscar the Priest, and ask yourself, why do these people know Noble Drew Ali to the point where they're in the pictures with the Prophet Noble Drew Ali? Why would they be there? Remember, in the 20s, when you said Moorish Science Temple of America, that's closed door. Only people with membership cards go in there. That's not a thing that's open to anybody just walk in. Right? There's specific days when it's open to the public. Other than that, this is for Moors. People who call themselves Moors and have a nationality card, this is what we do. This is what we rep. And you have these prominent Chicago businessmen and politicians around Noble Drew Ali. Their names are in the literature. Moors were there bearing witness to this happening. Right? And then that's why they tried to bury Great Seal. And you have people, Moors today, telling Moors, oh, you better pay your taxes, and you better not have that RV Bay card, and you better not listen to Taj and all that. Who do you think those people are? Those are the same people who try to bury all this stuff, to have you keep not knowing about your birthright, and keep your children not knowing about your birthright, and your children's children thinking that they're black and all that stuff, even though they come out the womb, and they, as soon as they get to the age where they can talk, they'll never say that they're black if you ask them what color they are. Never. It's their warped, retarded parents who turn them stupid and shut them down from being connected to the universe. And then they're just left here just to be victims of this BS that we created, talking about leaving them some legacy. Legacy of what? Pyramids are dusty BS. Like Dick Gregory said, the dusty ass pyramids. What are you going over there to see? That's what our legacy is? Some dusty ass stuff? That's our legacy. We're in trouble. Binga. B-I-N-G-A. And Max said, why does Noble Drew Ali know him? And if Noble Drew Ali knows him, this stuff's done. Like, it's over. Oscar the Priest is in office. It's not he was going to be in office. He was in office. He had a seat at Congress or more. You think we're going to take this thing over? And everything, and just like what Noble Drew Ali said, everything would be in the hands of the Moors again. But nah, they don't want that. They wanted Negro black color benefits. They wanted civil rights acts. They wanted acts. They didn't want birthrights. That's why you're suffering. These same people. The same people who sold out. As obedience is far better than sacrifice, Brother C.M. Bay later filed a copyright document in the Library of Congress in 1947, coded for the United States Code, the United States Title, Code 22, Chapter 2, and Section 141, under the judicial protection. He also recorded the tax-immune diplomatic status of the Moors in conjunction with the proper protections afforded to them via the MFN clause and the 1947 treaty between Italy and the United States. Remember, Noble Drew Ali said, it takes finance. I brought you everything it takes to save a nation. Now take it and save yourself. 5 years after this occurrence, the Nationality Act of 1952 was passed by the U.S. corporation, which unconstitutionally deprived individuals of prior nationality, stripped Moorish nationality from the Moors yet again, preventing them from taking advantage of the birthright tax immunity, property tax exemptions, political rights associated with citizenship of another state, the Moroccan Empire. Library of Congress filing of CMB was a huge blow to the European oligarchy occupying the land of the Moors as trustees of the U.S. corporation. It was also a huge blow to the dirty Moors who betrayed Prophet Noble Drew Ali and his teachings. CMB's full volume set includes information on Moorish nationality and Islamism as our original creed. It rebukes religion and also includes a nationality card, tax-exempt affidavits, and other useful information absent from today's temples. It does not, however, include information on Prophet Noble Drew Ali or name him in any way. This was by design, as Allah is the greatest of planners. The Nationality Act of 1952 was ultimately overturned by none other than the Supreme Court. If you have any questions, put them in the chat. If you don't have any questions, we shall carry on. Now, the civil rights is interesting because that's been unconstitutional since the 1800s. So how in 2020 that they're still talking about civil rights is an anomaly, because you can't fight for unconstitutional laws. You can't fight for unconstitutional laws. So that in itself, the civil rights, is a fiction. Charles Kirkman Bay accompanied Noble Drew Ali in 1928 to Havana, Cuba, and attended the Convention on Private International Law, where he was given the land mandate for the Americas. Kirkman Bay, his personal interpreter, is said to have spoken 92 languages. This is codex by the adepts to indicate that Kirkman Bay was indeed a traitor and double agent. The number 92 is the numerical value of the Hebrew word Jachin, according to Abellio, one of the two columns of the Temple of Solomon, and the other being Boaz. According to the Bible, Boaz and Jachin were two copper, brass, or bronze pillars which stood at the porch of Solomon's temple, the first temple in Jerusalem. Two pillars which were set up in front of the sanctuary in Solomon's temple in Jerusalem. This is veiled symbolism for Moors who are awakened. According to Ohio State and County records, subordinate Temple number 7, under the governance of Brother Charles Bay, was sold to Standard Oil Company. After the Prophet's transition in 1929, a new entity was created, i.e. the Moorish Science Temple of America Incorporated. C. Kirkman Bay made lawful changes as far as incorporating a separate entity from what the Prophet established in 1928's Cook County Affidavit. He also placed the title Sultan on his red fez, which was against Prophet Drew Ali's instructions. The Freedom of Information Act request also uncovered the fact that Colonel C. Kirkman Bay was also an informant for the FBI, put in place to deliver information on the Moorish movement and counteract its potency. So this is who was around Noble Drew Ali. Right? This was around. The only full volume set in the world of CMB's work, Clock of Destiny, is in the custody of the University of Denver Law Library. The former head professor of law, Dean Martin J. Katz, had it checked out as of the year 2012. This had been kept privately in his personal library for at least 5 years. The University of Denver has recently appointed Bruce Smith, J.D., Ph.D. as Dean of its Stern College of Law, effective July 1st, 2016. Smith came to Denver University from the University of Illinois College of Law, where he had served as a tenured professor since 2006. Interestingly enough, the 5 years is the mandatory minimum for repatriation for Moors back to the Empire of Morocco. Strangely enough, the CIA has since 2005 shifted their domestic headquarters to Denver, Colorado. Noble Drew Ali's former Supreme Grand Business Manager, Aaron Payne L., abandoned his Moorish title L and incredulously became the prosecuting district attorney for the city of Chicago. He later opened his own private practice as Aaron Payne and represented famous boxer Joe Louis, singer Nat King Cole, and other prominent so-called African Americans. He became a millionaire and was largely successful. The peculiar fact that we are indeed the true descendants of Moroccans was completely abandoned until the national emergence of Grand Sheikh Frederick Turner L., who spoke both Arabic and English. Turner L., he worked with the Prime Minister of Morocco, Haj Ahmed Balfrej, to help arrange the independence of the Kingdom of Morocco in 1956. See MSTA FBI file report 4/22/1944, Chicago file 100-33742, 100-33742, FBI file report. As early as 1934, Grand Sheikh Frederick Turner L. led his New York Moors to their first religious-based legal victory, commencing the Muslim Holy Day Friday. See also Fez No Hat, and So It May Be Worn in Court, Independent, January 28, 1937. Sheikh Turner L. began vigorously adopting the term Moroccan as opposed to just Moorish. His strategic use of Questionnaire Key's 31 national descent name clearly related to the contemporary state of Morocco as opposed to the empire, of which he was a true heir and trustee as a sheikh. He began to immediately look toward the UN as a model and source of legitimization for Moorish American grievances. As he spoke both English and Arabic fluently, the name change was likely done to appeal to an international political audience at large and increase the potency of his charges. In 1958, Turner L. addressed the U.S. Justice Department, pointing to the UN Genocide Declaration as the legal and ideological base on which the U.S. could begin preventing the further physical and mental destruction of so-called African Americans. Ultimately, Sheikh Turner L. lost followers due to confusion as the civil rights movement and the desperation for jobs and finance caused potential followers to move towards more lucrative black Muslim factions, the NOI, and Negro Christian ministries, which were heavily financed by Texas billionaire H.L. Hunt and the U.S. corporation, respectively, through 501c3 funding. So after CMB corrected everything that these dirty Moors did, here come some more to put stuff backwards again. So this is just for you to know what you're up against. And you better have thick skin if you want to play that you're a Moor and all that stuff. Don't be coming up in here with the, you could shoot your brother in the face, but then when it's time to study some law, you ain't down with that. You want to do something else. No. It's all his mental time. All his mental time. And again, this is RV Bay Publications. And you can just go read the memorandum. RV Bay, just Google RV Bay Publications, memorandum 55. And the PDF will pop up. Honors to all the Moors worldwide. Honors to all the mothers. Know the truth about your nationality and your birthrights. So we could bring forth the heirs that are going to do something with this knowledge from the womb. Not they got to get this 20 years on the earth plane, then they're getting it. So honors to all. Supreme honors to the Prophet Noble Drew Ali. Honors to all the master teachers ever that took this to the level